I'm HP and today I'm going to talk about country blues. First I'm using green in a video. I don't know, I didn't find the proper color for country blues, so I guess I took green somehow because of the country style stuff. So let's first check it out what I'm talking about. One, and then 2, 3, go. Somehow stuff like this, and you might have noticed a lot of lead ring stuff. So let's get into the details. Now let's first talk about the rhythm guitar. I know for some of you this is really pain in the because some of you don't really like to play rhythm guitar, but the real guitar player should be able to play rhythm guitar and lead guitar. And the rhythm guitar is a little bit tricky. It's played with finger picking. So here we go. The whole thing is in G, and we're playing a G5, having the ring finger on the 3rd fret, and we're playing his 2nd, 3rd fret. Oh, that's going to be a very long lesson, I guess, today. And maybe I'll make 2 parts. I just noticed that the ring guitar is a little bit complicated, more than I thought. So, index finger, no index, ring finger 3rd fret, and now we play here 3, and then we play the D and G string. See? And then just move forward here in the 2nd and 3rd frets with the middle and the pinky. And then that one is a little bit tricky. It sounds cool, but it's not so cool to play, because you might get some mishits here with the pinky, because then when you move the pinky here on the 3rd fret of the G string, then release it, and then the middle finger comes in the 2nd fret of the D string, and you do a lot of lead ring stuff. So that's how it works, more or less. And you see a switch between thumb and index and middle finger with the picking hand to create this orchestral sound. Here's all together. And now bass, and then see a switch between index, middle finger, and you let ring the rest of the chord. That's the trick. Yo, you play that twice, then you go to C, same picking and rhythm pattern, but this was a little bit tricky for the mishits with the pinky again. You just move the picking hand up, and here you're in the first and in the third, and then you take the second fret with the middle finger and the pinky here on the G string with on the third fret. I guess I'm gonna make 2 lessons out of this because there's so much stuff to learn on this lesson here. And here with the pinky you're very likely to make a miss hit. So take your time, really practice the stuff. And then you have the first part. Part. We have here D7, a small one, a 5th, 4th and 5th fret here, D, A, D and G string, and then you make the picking pattern first the bass, and then you move down a half, see, just move it down. And then we are at the beginning. And here the bass note is anticipated. That means it's a little bit before the one of the beat, so that makes it more fluent. When you play it fast, this gives a really drive. So 1, 2. When you can't, you see when you have your foot beating, you don't see it now. 1, 2 and 3 and. This is anticipate, comes on the 4 and. And when you go back, to the original little rhythm figure, then you go over the open E string. So you can make the anticipation either with only the bass and all the whole chords, or you can make a variation first time you play only the bass note, second time the whole chord. Now I play the full chord on the 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. And another trick that I'm doing to make it really groovy, I switch in between I make the open string of the A string, so see? Open A string and then the bass, and then I pick the higher notes with the index and middle finger. And when I go back to the first pattern, I will go over the open E string. See now. And that's a little bit tricky because first it's only thumb and then you make the whole thing. See. Yeah, here I'm back again. Sorry, the hard disk of the camera was full and just cut off the video. So, but maybe it's good to have now I showed the whole thing again from a view where you can see the entire thing which I showed. Just pay close attention what I did, and then I forgot to show you that one. Is a cool trick which I normally do is, let's say it goes something. It's a movement I make a slap with the left hand or the picking hand, and then I attack an open string, then comes the bass, and then the rest of the chord, and it goes. That's a cool effect, a cool rhythm effect, which you really can use for many things in finger picking rhythm guitar. Works pretty well. I'm HP, and this is the second part of the country blues tutorial, and here we're going to talk about the lead guitar, which is a pretty extended topic, where we're going to talk about some tricks or ideas how you can do cool lettering effects on a pretty easy way, like stuff like this, and you mix it up with single note lines, and that sounds pretty cool. As an example, hopefully I'm gonna have it. This stuff is pretty demanding, but still it's once you have it, it's not so hard to play. So let's do it from one step after the other. Now, first, to understand this whole lettering thing, we need to first analyze the track, which is pretty easy. It's the blues, country blues in G, having the chords G or G7. I don't know, like this one. Then we have C7 and we have D7. Now the chords are pretty essential. Why? That you can press them like this, because these are the notes which you can refer to when you want to do ring stuff. So when we have G, you can make any kind of ring effects out of these chords. Meaning, like if you want to play the upper three notes, you make the small chord and then you just attack one after each other. See, pretty easy. Or you want to have the middle ones, or the low ones, or the very low ones. It's up to you what you want to play, but you can really pull it out of the normal chord. Coming to the C7, or okay, I forgot now that this was now G, but we have G7. There's one thing more. So if you we take the upper part of the G7, which is this chord, you can play. See, cool. Or you just play first like this, and then, or play from the G, the middle part, and then you move in the upper part of the G7. From the understanding, it's not so hard, but of course from the grabbing technique, it's a little bit demanding till you really have these chords fluent, especially when you want to improvise with these chords. That's a little bit tricky, I must tell you. You need some practice, but it's from the technical side, it's on a good side, on a good way, as you don't need to really push it too hard to really get there. It's still, even if you are pretty in the beginning phase of guitar playing, it's still possible to do things like this if you love it to do it. So now we have G7. I'm gonna go in detail later. Then we have C7. Now you can pull out all of these notes which come from this chord. These two work really well, because this one and this one, or the upper three, but especially these two, because these two are the so-called guiding tones, or because this is the triad and this is the seventh of the chord, and these two notes, you call them the guide tones. The guide tones of G is a good trick. It's just a step above. When you make G7, you find them here, and this is C7. And here we have, by the way, D7, which is a very cool trick. So you have G7, these two notes, C7, these two notes, and D7, these two notes. See? Just one, and this for the beginners among you, this is very easy stuff. You can really play around with that stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. G7. Now C. And D. Really cool stuff and very easy to play. And I mean, you can improvise with the rhythm with just those two notes. And now when you make these little ring things and add some kind of pentatonics or blues scale licks, as a reminder, blues scale works very well. Then you're pretty much into country blues. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the main problem for most of you will be that you know when you have which chord and where it is. And that's the main part, because now when you play like this with lead ring stuff, you really need to know the chords and of course adapt. Even the easiest chord which are picked out with the guide tones, you need to adapt it when it comes. But now let's mix it a little bit up. Maybe it's too boring only the guide tone lines. We mix it up with what I showed before, with like on the G we do something like this, or this one. On the C7, what I normally do, which is much nicer, I take the C9 chord, see here, and take the upper part of it, and because it's easy to grab, just borrow in the 3rd fret and index in the 2nd fret. And then you can play around with these notes, just let ring. Same thing on the D7. Works pretty well. So now let's see how that works with the track. 1, 2, 3, 4. C7 back to D, G, D, now I switch between the chords by using these simple little chords, and a good trick to make it sound more interesting is that if you don't play one note after each other, you skip one, like, see, like in this case, I'm here in the 5th, 4th, 3rd fret, you skip one string, then it sounds much more interesting. Then, or on this one here, also skip one, go back one, skip one. Now it sounds much more interesting than just one after each other, or you can make a variation on that. See, pretty cool stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's check out this harder part now. Now, beside the beginner stuff, you can add this figure here with sexths. This works for G. We're in the 7th. Skip the B string or damp it, and then you have 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 for G. Then 12, 11, 10, 9 and 8 for D, and if you want to do the for C, and if you want to do the D, just move it up in 14, 13, 12, 11 and 10. So you have more variations. Then the licks which are played. That's a cool lick one, I really love that one. Works very well. It's a kind of a blues scale. You make this hammer and pull off. You start here on the 5th, then the 3rd, 5th, hammer on, attack it twice, and you make hammer on pull off. And when you're back here on the 5th, you attack it again. This way you can play pretty fast and sloppy. And then I added a very cool lick. Then I switched to a mixed leading mode, and I make a kind of a pull off. 5-0, 5-0, but not a real pull off, only a half pull off. It makes a blab blab. See, works pretty well. Really cool, and of course the standard lick. You can you make a combination with the very basic standard lick here. Pull 3-3, and pull off, and then you add the lick before. The lick before. Till here is the first, is another lick, and now. And you add the rest. Sounds very cool and very sloppy. 1, 2, 3, 4. On those sexts which I showed you, you can make the opposite movement. You can also go up with the same thing and then attack one string after each other. And then we have it together, more or less. And now I just decided to pop the whole thing together somehow. It's a really crazy lesson. First I said, okay, I'll make the whole thing. And then I thought, okay, I divide it because it's too long. Then the hard disk was full, so I needed to now cut 3 different clips together, which is technically no problem, of course. And I recorded the other one just before, but somehow I never divided lessons till before. It's the first time I need to divide them, but because of technical problems, normally I can play everything in one row. So. Now putting things together. Now. Just keep it cool. Make those LED ring effects. Add some licks if you want. If not, but I mean the main thing is that you add those LED ring things. You follow the chords, and then you make some slight little licks in between with a blues scale. If you're fast, it's cool, but you don't need to. And then. We have the country blues. 1, 2, 3. stuff like that. And that's how country blues works. So country is kind of a country style, but still bluesy. That's why I call it country blues, but maybe it's not country blues. I don't know. At least I have the green light, which is pretty country-like. And yeah. Good, enjoy it, and we see us next time.